Hi everybody, I'm here to show you some beautiful cards that you can make really easily with the Stampin' Up! Enduring Beauty dies, masks, and stamps. So let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to move my phone down. I have to click a couple toolbars here so that you can go down to my workspace. Oh, before I do that though, let me go ahead and get my iPad going too so that I can see that I'm in the right place and that you are seeing me in the right place too. So there we go. I think that's right. Yeah, there we go. My iPad's going. And then one more technical issue is my laptop here, because that's where I see your comments. So I just have to get that pulled up, and there it looks like I'm going. So when you jump on, just say hi. I'd love to know where you're from. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're having a heat wave. I can see how much my glasses are clearing there. Of above zero. So we've had sub-zero temperatures for actually over a week or 10 days. A lot of snow, but we're seeing it start to melt, and we're above zero. It feels like it's really warm and balmy, even though it's probably just right at 30. All right, so I think I'm on the right place. Am I in my right place? So make sure you say hi. I don't see people jumping on quite yet, but I'm just going to assume I'm on the right page. I have a couple of different groups, so I just want to make sure. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move you down on my little toolbar here, and then I'll be upside down, but you'll be right side up. This particular bundle was Stampin' Up! It's a little bit unusual in the fact that I know there's a lot of lights glaring. Sorry about that. I put my phone up higher this time. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and turn the room lights off. So hang on just a second. Sorry about that. Should have had that done. But last week I felt like it was too dark on my screen, so that's going to at least help a little bit. And let me get my glasses back on. Hi, Kathy. I'm so glad you're here. You're going to get close to 50. You're having a heat wave too. I know you had some of that freezing cold weather too. This mat's going to be just a little bit out of your view, but this is the mat that comes with this, which is the glass mat from Stampin' Up!, which is available if you join Stampin' Up! Right now. You can get this is about $60 value. Plus, there's a chamois that goes with it, which I haven't opened yet. I'm not quite sure what I'm saving it for, but I am saving it. So this mat actually helps to cover up the glare from my lamp that is right here. And then we're going to have this bar light in there. There's not anything I can do about that. Okay, I think we're set. Let's go ahead and get started. This looks really crooked. This host code is here for if you put in an order of $40 or more, you can get to each of the projects I'm going to show you today. And if your order is $50 or more, you're going to get an embellishment as well. So this is what we're looking at today, and I don't feel like the display and the catalog really gives this as much attention as it really deserves. It's on page 38. If you have a mini catalog, if you don't have one and you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like to have one, let me know. Oh, hi Diane, jumped on, and Martha's here. So we've got South Dakota here, and we've got Colorado here. I mean, you can kind of see what the master's supposed to do, but once I started working with them, I thought this would really be helpful to people, I think, if I showed what all they do. And then I'm also going to use a couple of DSPs from the Celebration catalog. Right now, if you spend $50 or more, you'll get a free choice of free gift from Stampin' Up! I'm using the softly stippled 12 by 12 paper. It's on page 8. And I'm going to use 2 designs out of that group. And then I'm also using, not that, here, the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. It's on page 6. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing I want to tell you about, one thing that I learned with these stamps and masks. Let me show you the masks first so you can see what I'm talking about. So there are 5 of them. Hi, Pam. You're warmer but really foggy. Yeah, we're we're warmer but we're really gray today. There's no sunshine. So this is what they look like. There's 5. 1, 2, and you'll see them more close up and personal when we make our projects today. But I went ahead and the numbers are on them. I don't know if you can actually see the number because they are hard to see. I don't think you can see it. So I went ahead and numbered mine so you could see it better in the video. So let me just get started with this. This is just initially the way you will use the stamps plus the masks. So I'm going to, see if I'm in the camera, let's go this way, and then I actually cover up that glare a little bit more. So that's better. These glass mats are made for crafting. They're not made for video. Because of but they're so nice for crafting. I've really enjoyed mine. I didn't know that I needed it, but now I feel like I do need it. All right, let me show you how I got started with this. So I laid down my mask number 1, and I'm going to see if that's in the video. Is it? Yeah, but it's really, really blurry. Let me move my light back a little bit. That's better, but it's kind of dark. That's all right. We'll live with it. What I did was I just placed my mat on a piece. This is cardstock, and I did the whole 5.5 by 8.5 length for this. And then I'm going to grab a pencil. I like everything to be lined up, so I'm lining it up. I've got this taped down. My cardstock is taped down with Post-it tape. And I'm going to grab a pencil, and I'm going to line or just mark. These have a little notch at the top. So I'm going to just mark that notch with a pencil. And I'm going to make myself another line here, maybe even one here. So I have more to match it up with. And then I'm going to leave this down, the Post-it down. I'm going to let it stay there to hold on to my paper. So now I have this stamp mounted already, but I'm going to take it off to show you how I lined it up, because it's so much easier once you get this all lined up. Hi, Kathy. Welcome from Ohio. So all along on the, oops, this has moved. Whoops, I didn't tape this one down, did I? I taped the cardstock, but not the mask. It's helpful to tape the mask as well. You'll see me use a lot of Post-it tape on this. You can use a Post-it note. I just get this from Amazon. This is called Post-it labeling and cover-up tape, and I use it all the time. I use it especially for this. Now I'm looking at this flower. So what I found easiest was to line up that flower. This doesn't have to be perfect for this part, but it gave me a view, because I wanted all my masks to go pretty much straight on this. So that's how I lined up my stamp. So now I'm just going to put my stamp down. And now it's going to pull everything up, because, like, again, I had this done ahead of time, but my mask moves, so I have to fix it so it's back in place. I wanted to show you how I did it, which I thought made it easier. Okay, now I'm going to remove this so I can actually stamp my image. But it's on my block pretty square, so I think it's going to line up fairly well. This doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but it's just a little bit helpful for getting everything lined up in your 5 masks. I'm inking this with Smoky Slate ink. Now, I'll tell you the story behind this card. I knew I was going to do this stamp this week, this bundle, the other day. And sometimes this doesn't hold the best, but in fact, let me get some new washi tape. I used this washi tape yesterday and this morning, so I'm thinking it's not quite as sticky. So we want to make sure it stays put. Anyway, I was upstairs. It was in the evening. I was watching TV. I tried to not come down to the stamp room in the evening, because then I can't wind down and go to sleep. But I had this idea, so I thought I'll just come down and play with this stamp a bit. and see what we get. So I just started with Smoky Slate, and I've been jabbering so long I might have touched it and not inked it up well. So I'm going to go ahead and, oops, touch the stamp again. Darn it. You do need this big block for this stamp. This is the largest one we have, unless you have a Stamparatus. This is F, I think. F, yes, it's F. Okay, now again I'm going to look for that one flower, this one flower, to get that lined up. Now, as I said, this is probably not going to work the way I thought it was going to work. I was trying to be efficient with showing you how this is all going to work. So let's see if it's actually going to work the way I think it's going to work. So there's our flower in Smoky Slate. It's pretty just like that. Even if you just cut that down to card size and used it, it would be really pretty. Now I'm going to take my first mask. I'm going to take number 1. And we're going to line this back up. I'm looking, forget the notches. That's for something else that I'm going to show you later. I got ahead of myself. But now I'm just going to line up the mask with the flowers. But the issue here is that you can see my papers, my masks fit on my paper perfectly, so that when I tape it down, everything tapes down. Does that make sense? My mask isn't crooked on my paper. Because when I first started to do this, that's what happened. So we're going to take, for the background, we're going to take Lemon Lolly, which is a really light, pretty, soft yellow. So we're going to start with that. No, that's pretty pink. We don't want that. We want this one. Lemon Lolly. It's one of our new colors this year. And then I have a whole bunch of blending brushes here, because you'll need blending brushes with your masks. That's how they work. Then I'm going to take my Lemon Lolly pad. I'm going to actually put it on this little mat. It's really great for holding your stamp pads, for them not moving. And then I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to start off of the flower and then move on to the flowers with my ink pad. With my blending brush, rather. I can't talk and stamp at the same time. Have to either talk or stamp. It seems, and we want this to be pretty soft, so I'm not going to spend too much time adding color. I am trying to add color like around the outside edges a little bit more, and that way I feel like it blends when I put the second mask on. Okay, now this is mask number 1. Then we're going to take this off. And I'll show you how I've been cleaning these. So I take off my masking tape, or my Post-it tape, and then I put it on my, this is my chamois. Now I'm going to normally do this off camera, but I just wanted to show you what I do it. And then I have this ready, and I have a place to put it so I can stack the other ones on it, and they don't get inky and have a big mess. So that's how I've been cleaning it. And again, this, darn it, keeps moving. It's not really critical that this one stays down, but it's helpful if it does. So we're going to go in the order that Stampin' Up! Has these. So this is number 2. I'm going to get this lined up here. I'm lining this up with the image. Ignore the notches. I'll show you later how that works. Because actually, the masks work perfectly with the notches if you're only using the mask. But if you're using the stamps as well, then you're going to just line it up with your stamped image, not so much, not the notches. So I'll show you how that works later. Let's go ahead to our next color. Now we're going to go ahead and use gray for this. We're going to go back to our Smoky Slate. I know it sounds odd. This is what came to my mind the other night when I came downstairs, because I was thinking of my mother's rose garden. My mom had a gorgeous rose garden. I grew up in Colorado, and it's perfect weather for roses in Colorado. I'm going to grab my, oops, that's not Smoky Slate. Let's find Smoky, here we go. Smoky Slate has a lot of green in it. Can you kind of see this? It's Smoky Slate, but it looks kind of green. And then I'm just going to start again off of the, on the mask, but off of the leaves themselves. And we're just going to brush on our smoky slate ink. If you don't like to color with blends markers, this is a really fast way to, quote, color. Okay, so this is probably enough for this. Now I am going to just go over the very edges of the leaves just to make sure I got the tips of them. But that's all the color I'm going to put on that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this up and look how pretty. It's such a wow. So I'm going to, I love the gray with the yellow roses. I was thinking again of my mom's rose garden, and she had roses that were kind of yellow and coral, and I'm going to show you how I was thinking of stamping with these masks in order to recreate her roses. Of course, it doesn't look anything like her roses, but it gave me the idea of what I grew up with at home, the idea of those same rose colors that my mom had. So let's go ahead, I'm kind of blithering here. Let's go ahead and grab the lemon lolly back, and then we'll go to mask number 3. So here is mask number 3. And again, we're just going to, I'm looking at this flower. It just was easier for me to find one thing to start lining up with, and then I also look at this one. That's helpful. And then I kind of adjust it, looking at the rest of the mask to see if it lines up with my stamped image. And it looks like it does, so that's good. Washi tape. I keep calling this washi tape, Post-it tape. Now, we're going to go back to our lemon lolly, and then make sure you're not too rough with your masks. I think I got a little carried away cleaning my mask, and it's still working fine, but it got a little bit bent. So you have these kind of tiny pieces that provide the detail on your flowers, and I just think I wasn't as careful cleaning them as I could have been. Now again, I'm just brushing on inking my brush with the ink pad, and then coloring to make sure I got all the little edges on this. And I'm not going to make it really dark. You can make it really dark, but I chose not to for this particular project. Okay, so now we're going to pick this back up. And then you can barely see, but you can see that there's shading on the roses. Now, if you wanted that deeper, you definitely could continue to add ink with your blending brush. Again, remove the Post-its because I'm going to reuse those again. And then just lay my mask down in my stamp case with my chamois and just wipe it off. Okay, so there's 3. You could be done with that if you really wanted to be, but we're going to go ahead and do all the masks so you see exactly how to make it this way. So let's go on to mask number 4. And again, I'm kind of looking over here to these leaves and that one. And since I lined this up with my first stamp, it's pretty easy to find them. But I'll tell you, the first time I didn't, because I was just down here playing, thinking about how to recreate a rose with yellow and peach colors like the ones I remember in my mom's garden. Okay, I'm lining up, I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's tiny stems here, and I'm in several places. Here's one, there's one, and there's one. So I'm kind of looking at those and adjusting my mask to make sure I'm perfectly in line with those, or as perfect as Joey gets, which isn't all that perfect usually. I'm lining those up. Now I'm going back to my smoky slate. So I will tell you that the more I worked with these, the more I went to 1, 3, 5, and then 2 and 4 right after each other, because 1, 3, and 5 are the flower, just the flower, and then 1, 3, 5, yeah. And 2 and 4 are the leaves. So now again, I'm just inking up I'm just tapping my ink pad, and then I'm going in circles on my mask. And I'm not only got it taped down, but I'm holding it so that I'm sure that things line up the way they're supposed to. And then you just have to remember these little leaf places. Make sure you get those. Like so. I think that's pretty good. That's going to be the detail on our leaves. Okay? All right, let's pick that up. And there we go. So each time, you know, we layer on a little bit more detail. So with the 5 masks, and by the time you've got all 5 of them, you have a lot of detail. So there's that one. And then let's go on to number 5. So number 5, gosh, this just does not want to stay. You know, if you're doing this on paper, probably today's video might have been done better on paper. It won't probably move as much, but it's wanting to move quite a bit. And again, that's not critical, but for me, it helps me get things lined up. Okay, so same thing. You know, my numbers at the top, I'm just lining everything up just about the same way. And now I'm going to look for the flower centers. So there's this little curve right here. Can you see this little curve? And then there's another one right here. So I'm kind of looking at those two first to get this lined up. And then the rest of it doesn't really exactly line up with the other flower centers. So once you get those two little places lined up, you're good to go. Or at least I felt like that was okay. Now, once again, we're going back. No, we're not going back. So here's where I brought in the petal pink. And this happened to be a lucky accident. And you'll see what I mean. So I brought in petal pink, thinking of my mom's roses again. I'm going to tap again in petal pink. And with mask number 5, I'm going to go into this color very lightly. I'm not adding a lot of this. Okay? Now, when I first took this off, when I saw it for the first time, I went, oh no, I don't like that. It doesn't blend with the yellow. So I thought what I would do, which worked really well, and then I loved it, is to take my Wink of Stella and then blend this in. So Wink of Stella kind of acts like a water painter a little bit, not nearly, of course it doesn't move the ink as much as that, but I started just going over and over those little stamens, is that what they're called, and the little flower with this. Can you see how much it's softening from this one? Then I'm doing this while the ink is still wet too, by the way, because that helps it blend better. Because as I said, I was just kind of experimenting and playing, and then I went, oh no, I don't like this petal pink in the middle. And I will definitely do more experimenting with colors, but I'm just showing you what I did on my first one. And then we'll make 2 other cards today too, so you can see more ways to use your masks and stamps and dies all together if you want to. And that one's fading better. Now, I did this quite a while on my first card. I'll show you my first card in order to actually get it really blended. But, oh, Liz. Hi, Liz. Yay, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Liz is my sideline, my wonderful sideline. She lives in Minnesota. We've had a lot of fun times stamping together, but we don't get to do it nearly as often as I'd like. Okay, so I'm not going to continue to go over this bit because I just wanted you to get the idea of it. But let me show you my original card. So can you see how on my original card, how the petal pink really blends in? So again, I'm not going to take too much time to work on this, but that's what it could look like. And then I decided I absolutely loved it. So I was really happy with it in the end, but at first I thought, oh no, I've wrecked my card with the petal pink in the middle. All right, now I kind of have to move things around so I can bring in my die cutting machine. Let me get things kind of cleaned up here. If you're watching on YouTube, you might want to grab a drink or, you know, so a hot cup of tea or maybe a glass of wine. Because this takes a while to show you everything that this does. So But I didn't want to cut out anything because what is the point of trying to show you how the masks and the dies work without showing you how they all work? So let me put this aside. I'm going to grab my die cutting machine and we're going to try and fit it here. Let's see if it works. And I don't know if I showed you the dies. I'll get them out. I think I just showed you the stamp set. So let's get that out. And then here are the dies. I'll get them back in the camera, better view in a little while. But so you have some leaves that are just detailed. They don't go with the stamps. They just are details. 2 little flower bunches that go with the, that are just detailed dies. And then these single flower stamps. And you get 2 of each of those. So you get 2 of all the leaves. And you get that label. And of course you get the big outline of the rose, the group of roses. Okay, now I have to kind of look at this. How do I do this? I think that's not it. Am I upside down? Probably. Yep, I think that's right. So we'll get that lined up. And then I will grab again my washi tape. Yeah, Liz, I like yellow and gray too. And as I said earlier in the video, this gray, it's smoky slate, has a lot of green in it. And it just turned out to work, I thought, pretty well for this card. So let's go ahead and get this die cut. Oh, thanks, Diane. It is, you know what? It is a big wow factor because every time you use one of the layers and you take it off to see what it's doing to your image, it's just so pretty. It just keeps adding more and more detail. So I decided I will go ahead and share it on video because I do think it takes a little bit of explanation and I have some tips and tricks to share. So I thought I will go ahead, even though it might be a long video, and show you what all these dies do along with the masks and the stamps. So let's set that aside and now we're ready to put our card together. I'm gonna grab the rest of my bits. I think I also have my label there. So now we've got our card, and I'll just tell you up front that all these cards have the exact same layout. So they're all 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored at the long side at 4 1/4. And then the first DSP is 3 3/4 by 5 on every card. This is that light and airy paper. It's kind of a shame to cover up these darling, beautiful little birds and flowers, but for this card, we're going to. So this is Lost Lagoon, and I know, as I said, this came together with me running downstairs to say, okay, I need to get started playing with these dies and just see how they work. And so, I don't know, this gray maybe doesn't go exactly with this paper, but I thought it picked up this light, these light little leaves, and I thought it worked okay. So I went for it. If you don't care for it, then you do it the way you like it, and then you'll be happy with it too. That's the beauty of stamping. We just get to be creative with it and do our own thing. And then every DSP in the 3 cards I'm going to, no, I'm sorry, the DSP is all 3 3/4 by 5. And then I just put a 1/8 inch bigger mat. So the Lemon Lolly mat is 3 3 7/8 and by, let me think, so 5 1/8. Well, that Joey seemed to be hard to come by. And this should go in the middle, but it's too big. Let me quick trim this to 4. Whoops, what was that? There's still a piece of paper left in the trimmer, so it kind of got in the way of my cut. I guess that's okay. By 5 1/4. for the inside. Oh, Shirley, thank you. You know, it is so pretty. Okay, true confessions, I didn't have this set on my list. And then one of my friends, Stampin' friends, that I follow quite a bit and enjoy her creations, she bought this and was going to do some cards with it in a video. I don't know if she's done that yet. I'll have to check her. Melissa Faust is the friend I'm talking about. Oops, I got too many things going on here, kids. You ever get too many things going on? I have a lot of things going on in my brain. Okay, so let's get this going. I can't wait to show you all the cards I have for you today because I'm so excited with the way they turned out. Okay, so I'm going to put my 3 leaves at the top, kind of just like this already. So let's grab our dimensionals. Oh, I guess I already did. Yep, okay. I'm always thinking of the next thing I'm going to do, so then I forget to actually finish the thing I'm trying to do. Now, let's stamp our greeting. We're going to go back to, actually, we're going to use Lost Lagoon for the greeting. Which I hadn't grabbed. I had all of my other ink pads ready. I'm in the middle of designing my Lighter Than Air. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Lighter Than Air balloon class. So I've had to pick up all those products so I wouldn't get everything mixed up. You know, there's just... So I'm prepping for my perennial lavender class. I designed these for my Facebook Live class to go. And I'm designing my club class with the balloons, with the hot air balloon set in the mini catalog. So there's just a lot right now. When it gets towards the end of the month, that's what happens. There's a lot of time needed for designing and then photographing, etc. Okay, so we've got our sweet little greeting here. And now I'm going to show you something I do once in a while, not very often, but it's kind of a fun ribbon technique instead of just a bow. So let's get our card there, and then I'm going to take my adhesive, and I'm actually just going to go all over my label, but not to stick it down. I'm going to actually stick my ribbon to it, and I'm going to try to do this the way I did it on my sample, and we'll see if it works. So I'm going to just fold this up like so, and then back like this. Let me get more ribbon. It's got caught on my brushes right there. And then kind of over like this, just making a little loop at the top. And then make another loop at the bottom. And then, can you see this? Let me put it here. Over here so you can see it better. There we go. And then another loop down here, and then let's just kind of put that. And again, because I have adhesive all the way across my label, it makes it much easier to do this. And then I'm gonna trim that, call that good. This ribbon is from a pack of 3 in the annual catalog called Sheer Ribbon Combo Pack, and it also has pink, the Bubble Bath, and the Azure Afternoon in it, along with the Lemon Lolly. It's just it sold out once, if not twice, when the catalog first came out. It's been very popular. Okay, let's get our dimensionals and get this on. You could definitely color all your roses with Wink of Stella. I didn't do it, mostly because today's video, the projects take a little bit longer than my normal cards for my video, just so I can show you how everything works here. Okay, that's how our little ribbon detail. And then we're going to grab some gems. Where are they? These are, I'm on the last of my iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. I mean, I have more packs of it, but this pack, I'm on the end of this pack. I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, and then we're just going to add maybe 1, big one. Not a really big one, but this. Okay, let's put one up here. And then let's put a little one. Well, no wonder I couldn't get it. It's upside down. Here's another one. We'll use this one down here. Maybe here, here. I know I'm mumbling while I put on my gems. So let's put a little one. This doesn't want to come up. Here, let me use this end. Well, for Pete's sakes, here. How about I'll just use my finger? That'll work. Okay, so there's our card number 1 with Lemon Lolly and Smoky Slate and just a little bit of Petal Pink in it. Oh, you know what I did, you guys? Look what I did. Did you see me do that? You were probably saying that in the video. You're putting it the wrong way. So here we go. Let's just go ahead and gently take this off. And this will work much better for giving the card. Let me get a little bit more tape. I wasn't watching your comments carefully. Maybe one or more of you saw me do that and went, don't do that. It's the wrong side. So we'll go like this. Push it down. There we go. So there's that. Normally I would do a little stamping on the inside, but today my goal is to just show you what all this bundle does. So we're just going to keep moving. Let's go to the second card. The second card, let me get all my bits out here. I'll bring these back later at the end if you want to take another look at them. The second card, we're going to do kind of the same idea. I'll wait on my label because I'm doing something special with that too. And I'm going to go about the same thing I did before, only I'm not going to do the notches this time because the notches are when you just use the masks, and I got ahead of myself, and not the stamp. That helps you line the masks up without the stamped image. So now this time I'm going to use a little darker ink. I'm going to go to Pebbled Path. I didn't use Memento Black on any of my cards today, but you certainly could. I just went with a little softer, as I said, Smoky Slate on my first one, and then Pebbled Path on my second one. But now I can't find my stamp. You know, it's kind of hard to lose that huge, big stamp. Oh my goodness, you guys, seriously? I can't even find it. That's just insane. Can anybody else lose a huge background stamp? I found it. Goodness gracious. I put it far to the side on my desk, which is usually not where I put anything. And to clean this, I'm kind of just going to pat down with my chamois. And I'm going to call that good because I'm going from a Smoky Slate to Pebbled Path. So if it's not 100% clean, it'll still be okay. So here we go with Pebbled Path. We're going to go through the same procedures, kind of. I'm going to show you a little twist. And again, I want to watch for this flower to be down to the left because that helps me get everything else lined up. Okay, so I'm going to just go here, give it a good press, make sure I've pressed around the edges. Thank you, Shirley. Oh, thanks, Pam. I'm glad you like the colors. It's so sweet. Okay. Oh, darn. I missed some of the leaf there. Well, let's see if I can do this. Probably not. So I might have to restamp this, but let's see if I can possibly. I don't know about this. I'm going to give it a try. I don't think I got ink on it. All right, sorry. We have to redo this. So all my talk about make sure you get around the edges. Yeah, make sure you get around the edges. I'm going to actually start with a new piece of cardstock. So again, I'm using a whole half sheet just cutting it at 5.5. You certainly don't have to, but I found that having a large sheet helped me really have better control of where the masks were lined up. I don't know how else better to say it, but that's what I'm trying to say. Now, let's try this again. Let's see if I can get everything lined up. If you have a Stamparatus, you will avoid this because you can just restamp it again. If you don't have one, then you just have to do like me. Make sure you're really covered well. Better than I was the last time. Darn it, these guys just keeps wanting to move. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching the replay. If you're enjoying what you're seeing and you're finding it helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's try this again. Make sure I get a complete image. Do you know, actually, that's the first time in all the times I've been making these cards that I didn't have a complete image, so not sure what was going on. I guess it's called trying to stamp and talk at the same time. You do want to get the stamp really clean though, because since it's so big, it's easy for the ink to get on other things you have around your workspace. Okay, so we're going to go back to, let's go back. Now this time I'm going to show you a little bit different method. So this time we're going to start with mask number 1, which is normal. Okay, here we go. Mask number 1. Getting my sample lined up here so I can see what I did. I kind of know what I did, but not 100%. Okay, so again, I'm looking for, oops, see? It's helpful to have one thing that you're kind of looking at that helps you get the rest of it lined up. So I'm going to go ahead. There's my flower that I used to line up everything. And then again, we're going to, and this is why it's nice to have a big piece of paper, because I can stick down both the mask and my cardstock at the same time. So that was one of the reasons I felt like this was a good thing to do, even though I realize there's a lot of paper on both sides of this. But you can always go back and cut off the scraps and not waste the paper is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm going to go to Flirty Flamingo now, if I can find the brush that I used for that. I think this is probably it. And we're going to do Flirty Flamingo first on this one. This one has a lot more color than the one we just did, but I wanted to show you the versatility of these gorgeous masks and how they work with the stamps. I am going to show you at the end of the video, so stay with me. I'm going to show you how to make a card without the stamps. So if you just want the masks, you can do that too, which is kind of fun. Okay, so there's our Flirty Flamingo. Pick up our mask, take off our tape, quickly clean our mask number 1. I realize my cardstock's moving all over the place. It's okay. I probably should have planned on using paper today, but I didn't. So we're just going to deal with our basic cardstock moving around, which is not going to, it's not going to hurt our image. It just makes it a little bit harder to line up if it's moving around a lot. Okay, so this is mask 3. You know, the first time we went to 2 and we did the leaves in the softer color, the background color for the leaves. But I'm doing this because to show you that you can do the flower all first and then the leaves both together. It doesn't matter. Your masks are all numbered. You just have to keep track of what colors you're using for the flowers and the leaves. Now I'm going to grab, what am I going to grab? Sweet Sorbet is what I want. I've got a whole stack of ink pads here. Hi, John. Good morning from Australia. All right, this is Sweet Sorbet. So I usually, for the most part, stay with one color for my brushes. I have quite a few brushes. Now, that said, I sometimes use, so I could use this also for Flirty Flamingo. If your colors are pretty close, what you're working on, then sometimes I don't switch the brush. But you just have to be careful that you're not pouncing a brush that has a darker color into a lighter colored ink pad. Okay, so this is Sweet Sorbet. Let's see what we have now with this one. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I just love these colors together. I think they're just so pretty. And it's such a wow. And at any stage, you could just be done with your card. So, you know, even flower number 1, where all we had was the background color and then our stamped image, I think that alone is a beautiful card. They're just so versatile. Okay. That's 1 and 3. Then we'll go to 5 because that's still the flower. Again, it doesn't really matter the order. And again, I'm lining up this with this flower down here. It has that one little rounded, this rounded place right here, and then this one right here. That's what I'm looking at to line these up. So I'm going kind of like this. And again, because I have a pretty big piece of paper, I'll be able to post it, everything down together like so. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Sweet Sorbet, and we're going to just do ink sorbet or Sweet Sorbet again on the middle of our flower, like so. And so the darkest part of our flower is definitely going to be the flower centers, which is normally what you're going to want. Otherwise, they won't show up. So I'm just going to keep going over this so it's a little bit darker on the stamens of the flowers. Okay, so there's still our Sweet Sorbet that we're working on, and then we get that much more detail. Isn't it pretty all together? All right, then we're gonna clean. Again, I've got this in my plastic stamp case that I keep my chamois in for cleaning. So that's what I'm doing. I know it might make you nervous, like I'm gonna be on top of my stamp, my stamped image, because you can see through it. Okay, now we're ready for the leaf. So on this one, I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do, you guys? I have this one already done. So we're just going to use the one that I have finished so that you don't have to wait through that. So I did Old Olive for both the leaf background. I'll finish this one later and put it on a card. But you get the idea of it. So you saw how I did it in the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to this one, which is already die cut. Now for the label for this one, we're going to just go ahead and stamp our greeting. This time we're going to stamp Embrace the Beauty of You. Let me find that. That's not it. Here it is. Okay, Embrace the Beauty of You. I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet again. Then, I do really like this little mat here, the silicone mat to hold my ink pads. And I have a lot of detailed dies on the mat too. They've got little holders. Embrace the Beauty of You. And the other thing I love is I don't have to get out my piercing mat to get a good image. This has a lot of give. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of give, but it's a thick mat. It's probably 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe. No, not that much. Yeah, maybe about that much. So there we've got that. Now I'm going to cut. I did use my trimmer. I'm going to get my trimmer back out for this. First I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just use my scissors, but I'm going to get my trimmer. I'm going to trim from this corner right here to this corner. I don't know if I can get that in the video. Well, here, I can do it up here. Sorry about that. I can come up here. I usually do it at the bottom, so I'm thinking, can I do that? Do I know what I'm doing if I do it that way? Let's see. Let me think how I'm doing this again. I'm going to cut from about here, that second little loop, down to the bottom little loop. Hopefully that's going to work pretty good. And like this, so like that, because that's going to make a little frame for our greeting. So now I'm going to put adhesive on the back of my greeting, both at the top and at the bottom, so that I can just line this up. This corner is going to make, can you see what I'm trying to do there? Just get a little bit of that edge of the sweet sorbet edge, and then the same thing with this guy over here at the bottom. Is that right? Like, what am I trying to do here? Is that right? Yes, that's right. Sorry, I had to look at my sample. This is something I haven't really done before, so I wasn't sure I was lining it up right. I actually want that edge to show, and then I'm getting this one under it like so. I don't think that's really what I wanted to do. I think I cut it at the wrong angle, but we're going to say, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I'm not going to redo it. We're going to call it good. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and get our card base going. This paper is from the stippled something in the celebration catalog. So I want to make sure and show you some celebration products today and how you can use those with your products from the mini catalog. Same layout as my first card. The DSP is 3 3/4 by 5, and the mat is 1/8 inch bigger, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Then let's go ahead and put it on a Pebble Path card. How many stencils are there? 5, Kathy. There are 5 stencils to create this image. Now I'm going to show you at the very end of the video, I'm going to show you how to use the stencils to make a card, and I did not use all 5 of them, and I'll show you that at the end. So now we're going to go ahead and get this down on our paper. This is Pebble Path for my background. I don't know if I said that, but it's Pebble Path for my card base. Now, what I'm going to do might sound kind of crazy, but I'm going to actually cut my image. So I'll try and stay in the camera for this, hopefully. I'm going to cut down from, let's see, where do I want to go here? I'm looking at my sample to kind of see how I want this, where I want exactly to cut it. So I want part of this flower. Let's go. Is it funny that you look at something upside down and it doesn't look right? I'm not 100% sure this is how I did my sample, but we're going to go with it. And actually, I don't think it really matters if you don't do it exactly the same way you're thinking you were going to do it. And then I'm going to put this guy up here, and then this one's going to go down here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not going to stick this down to the edges because I have some leaves to put on my card. Oh, look, I did cut myself an extra tag just in case I didn't cut it right, but it's okay. We're going to go with it. Then I'm going to put this guy up here. But I'm not sticking it down too much because I'm going to add these little leaves to it. These are just the die cut leaves from the die set. Okay, get these down. Then let's go ahead and put mini glue dots on the back of these so we have them ready to just stick in our image. So I'm just sticking the stems at the bottom on, oops, that came off. Well, since it came off, let's go ahead and stick it on. I'm gonna put this one, well, I said I wasn't gonna stick this down, but it's definitely sticking. I'm gently pulling this up to stick in this little leaf. We could have done this first, but I didn't. So now you have to kind of figure out how to get it on. Here, I'm gonna move this whole thing over. Very gently pulling. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stick this on my actual image. Like so. I don't know if I'm in the camera. So I've got my double leaf and then I've got my image and I'm going to stick this on. It's gonna come down just a little bit here. And now I am going to stick this down a little bit better here because I want that leaf to just come out a little bit there. Does that make sense? I'm making this look difficult. My first one went together much faster. You know, Facebook Live. Okay, so that's not sticking down because there's no adhesive under that. There we go. And then that one of these leaves, I'm going to go ahead and just put maybe here. So let's get the mini glue dot on that one too. I'm just going to tuck that under this flower right here. Right there. There we go. And then there's one more leaf. And again, but all these dies have 2 leaves, 2 flowers, 2 flower bunches of flower buds. This one I'm going to stick up here. Maybe like that to come off the image a little bit. So those are old olive. I don't know if I said I've got old olive leaves there already die cut. And then we've got this little die, which is kind of odd the way I have it cut, but I'll probably fix it after I'm off of Facebook. But this one should look like this one, and I'm not sure what I did wrong. But it didn't do quite what I wanted it to do. All right, I'll show you my sample so you can see what I was intending for it to do. Okay, let's go about right here with this. And I think what's going to save this is I'm going to have a ribbon here that might not draw your attention to the fact that that's not really straight. This time I'm going to grab our sheer ribbon with a silver edge. I think it's called white and silver edge ribbon. Sheer. It's called sheer ribbon. White sheer ribbon, silver edge. What is this called? Silver and white sheer ribbon. I guess it's white. It's just kind of clear. Okay, so then it's gonna, I felt like it needed a little more zing, you know? So this brings a little bit of shimmer to it. Let's grab our mini glue dots. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to use 2. When there's a little bit wider knot in the bow, I usually use 2. Okay, there's that guy. Didn't that turn out pretty? I got this idea from a swap card, and I do not know whose card it was. I want this to stick down better. Let me grab a glue dot and put it in there. I wish I did. If you are by chance watching this, and this is your swap card, your idea that I took my card from, please put it in the comments, because I like to give credit to you. So stick this down. And then this corner, I didn't get very much adhesive on this, did I? Probably should have used Tombow liquid glue, but the whole idea was to just show you how to use the masks. So hopefully I'm giving you some ideas. And I've got all these big mats. Okay, so there's card number 2. And again, before I send these out, I'll probably do some stamping on the inside. But we're going to keep moving so we get all these done. So, and then we'll go back to our bling. Let's go back to those same iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. So, here we go. Let's put, I don't know if I want that big one. I think it kind of competes with the flowers, so let's not do that. Put one medium and maybe one here. And let's see, maybe we'll mix it up and put one kind of here on the flower. Doesn't really show there. Let's move it to the leaf or the flower petal. There you go. Okay, so there's card number 2. Here's card number 1. And you can see how I did that. I cut that better. I don't know what the difference was. I just didn't cut this one as well. Anyway, but that's card number 2, what you can do with Enduring Beauty masks. And now I'm going to show you how to use them as a background stamp. And the last one's going to go pretty fast because we're not going to do all the layering. So, and I have to find my 3rd card. Here it is. Things get buried. I don't know. They get buried during Facebook Live. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so there's card number 2. Oh, you like that, Diane? I'm glad you like it. Okay, let's make number 3. This one's going to go faster, but it's another way, it's a versatile way to use this stamp set. So we're going to actually take the paper from the, what's this one from? Oh, that's from the stippled paper. Let me show you. This is one of the free ones you can get for celebration. And I've just started using it. So we used that one for our other card, and then this pretty design. And then this one is Wild Wheat. They have a couple Wild Wheat designs. This one is so pretty. I love that. I think that's Pebble Path. It might be Smoky Slate. And then this one is Pool Party or Lost Lagoon. And there's the backs of them. Smoky Slate, Lost Lagoon with Wild Wheat, Lost Lagoon, Pool Party or Flurry Flamingo. I'm not quite sure. But those are the papers in the stippled paper that you can get with for a celebration level 1. All right, we're going to go ahead and just stamp right on this paper. So let's grab our floral stamp, our background stamp, and I'm gonna go ahead and ink the whole thing because I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna stamp it. Kind of look at my sample here. So this time I'm gonna stamp not the whole image. I'm gonna stamp just part of the image, and again, as I said earlier, I'm gonna stamp right on the paper. So I'm just kind of getting this centered so I have room for my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp it just off to this way, or let's see, this way. I think this way. I'm going to go off to the side a little bit and then like that. Okay. And there we go. So isn't that pretty, just like that? So you could just do it like that. You don't have to do anything else to it, really. All right, I'm going to take my chamois though and clean my mat just to make sure I don't have ink where I don't want it to go, like so. Okay, then we're just going to take our pretty peacock mat, same dimensions as our other two, 3 3/4 by 5 for the DSP, and then 1/8 bigger for the mat. This is going to be on a white card. And we'll get our greeting. I used the same greeting label for all 3 cards as well because it comes with the dies. So I thought, let's just go ahead and use what's in the die set. First, before we do that, we're going to wrap some ribbon around here. So this is a new ribbon. This is a Pretty Peacock in Gold, they're calling it. Pretty Peacock in Gold, yes. That's what it is. So let's wrap some ribbon around. Let's see, I think I want my bow to go at this side with all the flowers. So this is kind of a sheer ribbon. I know that sounds odd to say that, but it kind of is. It's pretty delicate. Okay, let's get our bow tied here. It's really pretty. It's glittery in person. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but it's glittery in person. Let's go ahead and adjust this a little bit, and we'll make our bow. I like Pretty Peacock. I'm so happy it came back. Is this what I want? No, that's not the way I want my bow to go. Hang on. I'm going to do this again. Let's bring the top ribbon this way. And now we'll go this way. I don't know what I was thinking. I got carried away. It's really pretty though. It's glittery. It doesn't look really gold. I mean, it's more gold than silver, but it's just pretty and shimmery. You could probably use gold accents with it. I'm sure you could. Just pulling this through for my bow. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this is a long video to show you all the things that this bundle can do. So I'm grateful you're watching. I don't take you spending your time with me lightly because everybody's busy and has a lot to do. So thanks for being with me today or tonight, whenever you're watching. Happy you're here. Okay, I think that'll work for now. And let's go ahead and put that on our card. Again, you really don't even need the ribbon or anything else on this. You could just use the DSP. Oh, I twisted my ribbon. That might be why the bow didn't want to cooperate, but we'll leave it for now. It'll probably still lay pretty flat, which it does, so I'm good with that. Let's just crease this down a bit more, though, like so. Okay, there's that. Oh, thanks, Diane. All right, let's go with another greeting here. Let's use, it has a lot of really nice greetings in the set. We will use You Mean So Much to Me. We'll use that one. That'll be good for this card. There we go. And again, I don't have to get my piercing mat out because it works really well to just use the glass mat for that to get good images with your photopolymer. Okay, so there's that. Now I have already pre-die cut some pretty Peacock shimmer ribbon from the 3-color glimmer paper. That's not ribbon. I can hear my teddy, my puppy in the background. He's starting to fuss, so I probably need to get this going. I'm going to go ahead and put these on mini glue dots so I can just stick them on the back of this label. All these are going to go on the back. I've got the double leaf. That already came off. The 2 double leaves, a single leaf, and a flower stem. Well, a flower and a stem. They're all one. Let's go ahead and put this on. All right. Let's go ahead and let's do the 2 flowers back here. Or the leaves, rather. 2 leaves, maybe kind of like so. Then let's go ahead with the flower. And let's get the flower sticking all the way out to the side. Kind of like that. So it looks like it's with the leaves, but not exactly on it. Then let's get another leaf here. And I think I was supposed to, oh, wait a minute. We want another flower here, and I do have that cut already. I was hoping to save a little time by doing quite a bit of the die cutting early on. So then we'll stick this flower here. But if you'll stick with me to the very end, I'll show you how to use the dies. I'm going to just roll this ribbon down just a little bit. I'll show you how to use, sorry, the masks, not the dies. The masks alone without the stamp. So if you're interested in just doing that, you can see how that works. So I realize you might have to go away and come back to this video because it's pretty long. But I think it'll be worth it for me to show you how the masks work without the stamp, because maybe you're just interested in just using it that way. They're only, I think, $11. I'm not 100% sure that's right, but I think that's how much they are. We're going to bling this one up quite a bit with gems. These iridescent rhinestones are so pretty. They kind of pick up whatever color your background is they're on. I don't know, this is not working. I'm gonna grab this is an old piercing tool that we used to sell, and it's really good for picking up gems. 1, 2, 3, 4, need one more. 5, maybe over here, on there. So that gets your eye to move around, and so there's our third card. Now, if you'd like to stay with me, I'm gonna show you how to do this. And this is a card without using the stamps, just the dies. So now here is where those notches come in really handy and making a guide for yourself. So let me go to number 2 of the flowers. That's 2, is that right? No, 2 is leaves. So I want the detailed flower, so I'm not going to actually use all 3 masks on this, what I'm showing you now. In fact, this is not clean. Hang on, I need to make sure this is clean before we move on. Grab that cleaning mat. I thought I cleaned them all, but I might have just not gotten this one really clean. Okay. On the back. We are going to use pink with that, and it already shows pink, so it probably wouldn't be too much of a deal, but just be careful with that so you don't mess up your images, because once you start building your flower, you don't want to have to go back and try and cover up something, because this is not going to be very forgiving. So now again, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm sticking down the mask and the cardstock all to my mat. And then, now it's where the guide with the pencil works. As I said at the beginning, I kind of got ahead of myself, but this is where you want to know how to line these up, because you don't have an image to go by. So I'm just going to kind of make myself a guide here on my cardstock. And again, because I used a large piece of cardstock, this is going to work well for doing everything that I'm trying to do. Okay, now I need petal pink. No, wrong, bubble bath. And again, I'm not using number 1. I think I'm using all the other 4. I think I'm using all 4, but just not number 1 for the flowers. I got this idea from the catalog sample. I'm just looking for my light pink. I'm not seeing my light pink brush. We'll go with this one. I'm not sure this is it, but we'll go with it. Okay, so here's my bubble bath, and I'm just going to go lightly, but make sure I have everything covered too. And I'm holding it pretty firmly with my left hand, because I just don't want things to move, because then you either have a blurb or you have to start over. So I'm going around all the edges just to make sure those are all covered. Okay, so there's mask 3. Okay, now I'm going to actually go to mask 5. So isn't that kind of cool? That's kind of cool. We can make a card with just that. We don't really have to go on. But for now, I'm going to show you how to line this up. So I'm going up to the notch here, and I'm lining up here with my 2 lines there. And then I'm going to go ahead and again stick the mask, the cardstock, all down together to my mat. Okay, for me that worked the best. Now we're going to take Berry Burst. And we're going to do the detail of the flower in Berry Burst. Okay. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So here, I know it kind of looks like it's going to be a hot mess, but wait till you see it. It's really, really, really pretty. Okay. So Berry Burst is obviously a really bright color. Oh, thank you, Kathy. You like my 3rd one. Thanks, Diane. Okay, here we go. Oh, voila. Okay, so there's that. There's that much. I'm not going to take the time to clean my mask now because this is my last card, so I don't have to clean them, and then I won't keep you from the rest of your life. Now I'm going to grab we're going to do both of the leaf dies. So here again, I'm going to line up my notch with my marking there, and same here, lining everything up, and then grabbing Post-it tape. Oops, did I move it? I moved it just a little bit. So keep checking here. Now I'm sticking everything down together. So really what you really just need is your cardstock to be a little bit bigger than your mask. At least I found that the easiest to work with. Then I'm going to grab, where's my Post-it notes? I have a whole roll of Post-it notes and they've disappeared. It's pretty amazing how things disappear on Facebook Live. It's just like this black hole opens up and things disappear. I found it. Okay, now we're just going to take our old olive, and this is the mask 2, which is the leaf. Whoops, I'm going to put this over here. Which is the leaf that doesn't have the details, so that's not a very good way to explain it. I want this really soft, so I'm not going to put very much ink on it. I got too much there. I didn't really want that, but we'll go for it. Okay, it'll work okay. Okay, so that shows you that. And let me show you what this looks like now when we take it off. So now we have this. And again, I think it's just pretty. Each time you really could stop where you wouldn't have to keep going. Okay, now let's do the detail of the leaf, which is going to be mask 4. There we go. Again, notch. I'm lining it up on both sides. Now I'm sticking everything down together. And now I'm going back to my old olive and my blending brush, and we're just going to go over the detail. And again, I don't really want this super dark. So I'm just going to, I wanted this kind of soft. I feel like this got off, but I'm not sure. We're going to go for it anyway. Okay, now we're going to go, and there's that. So I'm not finishing this card today, but I want to show you the finished card that I made with it. So this one, I think I showed it to you earlier, but that's how to make this one. For the class to go, you're going to get the supplies to make. Well, one more thing about this one. I used those little flower dies, those tiny flowers too, as well as the leaves and others, and I thought that turned out pretty. I also used the, can you see that I used the large stamp as the background stamp for this? I stamped it once at the top and then once at the bottom. This is Bubble Bath. I should have done my greeting in Berry Burst. I'll probably redo that greeting and do it on it, would show it better, but this is the basis of that beautiful card. I just thought it was so pretty. And then these are the cards that you will get the supplies for. Supplies for all 6 cards if your order goes in this week through Sunday. This ends on Sunday. For $40 or more, you'll get all the supplies to make these cards. You do need the stamps, and you need the dies and the masks to make these as I made them. If you don't want to make them as I made them, then just buy which parts work for you or use what you already have. Here's the host code for that. And I hope that this was helpful. I knew it was going to be a long video because usually I try to do pretty quick and fast things on my video, just because I know it takes so long. Who has an hour and a half to sit and watch a video? But hopefully you've learned some things. And let me get my glasses off because it's so glary in my glasses. But thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate that you do crafting with me. I consider you my friends, and I'm just so happy that we've become friends through crafting. So have a wonderful day. I'm just going to check the comments to make sure there isn't anything, if I missed any questions. And thank you for the hearts, everybody. You're just so sweet. You make it worthwhile to do all the preparation and to do the designing and to get everything ready to show you every week, because you always seem so appreciative, and I appreciate that too. So even if you're watching on YouTube, please comment. I always come back and answer my comments both on YouTube and Facebook. And like my page and subscribe to my channel. All right, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 12:30, same time, everybody, on my Create with Joey page. Bye-bye. See you next time.